Sometimes the person you miss most is who you used to be. Not an ex, not a friend who moved away, not a chapter of life that ended. You, a version of you who laughed easier, who felt things more fully, who didn't rehearse every sentence before speaking, who didn't carry this quiet heaviness all the time. And the strange part is, no one else seems to notice that anything is missing. Because on the outside, you're still you. You show up, you function, you do what needs to be done. And maybe you even do it better now. More responsible, more reliable, more in control. But inside, something feels different, quieter, duller, further away. Like a room in your own house you haven't entered in a long time. And you can't always explain when it changed. You don't wake up one day and suddenly decide to become a different person. It happens slowly. Life starts asking more of you. Responsibility shows up unannounced. Disappointments teach you where to be careful. Heartbreak teaches you where to hold back. And without really noticing, you begin editing yourself. You become more practical, more careful, less impulsive, less open, not because you wanted to, but because it felt necessary. Because being light didn't always feel safe. Because being hopeful sometimes hurt. Because trusting without question had consequences. So you adjusted, and each adjustment made sense at the time. Each one felt like growing up, or being realistic, or protecting your peace. But then one day, you look back and wonder, when did I stop being that person? It's rarely the big dreams that disappear. It's the small things. Singing without wondering who might hear, getting excited about simple plans, calling someone just because you miss them, believing without hesitation that things will work out. You still do some of these things, just differently now. More measured, more guarded, more aware of how things might unfold. And that awareness is useful. It protects you. It helps you make better choices. But quietly, it also changes you. Because the version of you that moved freely didn't run every moment through a filter. Life wasn't a calculation. It was something you stepped into. You just lived it. There's a quiet kind of grief that comes with this. Not dramatic grief, not the kind people gather around you for, not even the kind that has a name, just a private ache you carry with you. Sometimes you look at old photos and feel something shift inside. Not because life was perfect then, but because you recognize the light in your own eyes, the openness, the spark, the softness. And sometimes you realize you traded pieces of that person away for stability, for approval, for a future you were trying to build. A future shaped by imagination, by ideas of what life should look like, by quiet promises you made to yourself about who you needed to become. If I reach this goal, if I become this version of myself, if I fix this part of my life, then maybe I'll feel complete. But even when you arrive there, the feeling you expected doesn't always meet you, because the cost of becoming who you thought you needed to be was parts of who you already were. And no one really tells you that self-growth can sometimes feel a lot like self-loss. But here's the part we don't say enough. The version of you from before wasn't more real than the person you are now. It was simply a different chapter of your life. You didn't betray yourself. You responded to life the best way you knew how at the time. You adapted, you learned. You protected your heart when it needed protecting. That doesn't make you broken. It makes you human. Growth rarely looks like a straight line upward. Sometimes it looks like becoming quieter, or more cautious, or a little less naive. And while that can feel like loss, it's also experience. It's just the shape of living. The goal isn't to go back. You can't be the person you were at 20, or before certain heartbreaks, or before life asked more of you. And maybe you're not meant to. But here's the gentle truth. That version of you isn't gone. Those parts of you are still there. The curiosity, the warmth, the softness, the spark, they didn't vanish. They just grew quiet under everything you had to carry. And quiet parts of you can be heard again. Not in big life-changing moments, just in small ones. Laughing a little louder than usual, saying what you actually feel, letting yourself enjoy something without overthinking it. You don't have to become your old self. You only have to make a little room for what still feels alive inside you. Missing who you used to be doesn't mean you failed. It simply means you remember what it feels like to be fully present in your own life. And that memory isn't there to pull you backward. It's there to guide you gently forward. Maybe the next version of you isn't about becoming someone new. Maybe it's about meeting yourself again, with a little more kindness this time, and choosing not to disappear from your own life. And if you're still here, you're already closer to yourself than you think.